receive this little clip here from a newspaper column called Ask Amy. It's a column we've quoted from before. And here is the letter sent into the Ask Amy column syndicated by the Chicago Tribune. Thoughtful in Ontario writes, Dear Amy, my fiancé and I are contemplating marriage. We love each other very much, trust each other completely, and want to start a family. We're both 27 years old and have built lives we're proud of. We found ourselves in the position of questioning what marriage means to us. Neither of us is particularly religious. We value the fact that marriage signifies a lifelong commitment, but as we also believe it's better to divorce than remain in an unhappy marriage, this benefit to marriage also seems somewhat invalidated. We don't want to engage in a meaningless wedding just so we can throw a big party. Do you have any thoughts for us on what marriage can mean for a couple or for a family, above and beyond religious teachings? Or do you think we're just thinking about this too much? That's Thoughtful in Ontario. Now, Amy kind of punted. Rather than answering the question completely, she asked readers to write in and give their thoughts on this subject. But why should we wait for them to write in? For God's sake. Of course, the newspaper is about as antiquated now as the Pony Express. Very quaint. Yes, people are going to write in. They're going to take out a pen and a piece of paper, and they're going to write down their thoughts. Get a 41-cent stamp and put it on an envelope. They're going to jog on down to the local mailbox, drop it in. About 3 or 4 days, that letter will show up in Amy's office in Chicago. And she'll take out that letter opener, you know, and open each envelope, unfold each piece of paper and read it. And in a few weeks, she'll transcribe these letters, add her own thoughts, and we'll get to find out what people think. That's very quaint. You know, in the Internet era, in the iPod, telecommunications, Facebook, MySpace, YouTube era, this all seems very quaint to me. Writing into the advice column and then sitting home and waiting a few weeks to see if your letter gets published. In an era where you can, you know, have a blog and your diarrhea of the mind can be out there in cyberspace immediately so that anybody can pull it down and read it, should they be stupid enough to care what you think. While we're on the subject of blogs, I digress. Let me just say this to those of you who write blogs. You know, unless your name is Ann Coulter or Pat Buchanan or one of these ranters and ravers who's on cable TV all the time, let's just say you're the average person posting on MySpace, Facebook, or just your own blog spot or whatever. What makes you think any of us could care less what you're doing or thinking about? The funniest thing to me about blogs is that people who write them think we care. We don't. We really honestly don't care what you think. I'm amazed that you write that stuff, because if I happen to trip over your blog, I'm saying to myself, do I care that this person got his dog shampooed today, or that he got into an argument with a coworker? Do I really care? And the answer, quite honestly, is no, I don't. But yet, if you wanted to post a blog, it would get up there and it would be available to the entire planet a lot sooner than if you wrote a letter to Ask Amy. sealed it with a kiss, walked down to the mailbox in the rain, dropped it in there, then went home to twiddle your thumbs and wait to see if your letter got picked. Very quaint. I feel like using some Ipana toothpaste and some Savarin coffee and sitting back and just thinking about what it was like back in those days when you would write a letter in. But all right, that was the letter written to Amy from Thoughtful in Ontario, the two people who are remarkably thoughtful at 27, thinking about getting married and wondering what does marriage mean to us and why are we doing this. Let me give my answer, okay? You're doing this for no good reason, especially if you're the guy part of this couple. You're doing it because your friends have done it, because your parents are pressuring you. Even having children, you're probably having children because your parents want to be grandparents. I mean, in most cases, we're doing things because of, like, I'm Jewish, I'm a born-again Christian, whatever. But seriously speaking, I know there are exceptions to this rule. How many of you obtained your religion because your parents, just like they whacked off your foreskin before you knew what they were doing, they took all this dogma you could not or would not understand and just simply shoved it down your throat? And so now you're a Protestant or a Lutheran or a Mormon or whatever you are. Because your parents shoved it down your throat, they forced it upon you. The proof that most of us are not very religious, no matter what we say, no matter what we tell the pollsters and what have you, is the fact that any time a guy finds a good piece of trim, if she says, I can't marry you if you're not Jewish, poof, we're a Jew. Not realizing that, once you marry her, that's the last time you're getting any good sex. But that's beside the point. I mean, seriously speaking, how religious could you possibly be if you, when you meet and fall in love with somebody, you become another religion overnight? Today I believe in our Lord Jesus Christ, and I go to church and I ask his forgiveness, and I go to the confessional booth and get down on my knees and take some wafers and stuff, and then suddenly the next day, bam, no pork. Poof, I'm a Jew. Poof, I'm a Mormon. Poof, I'm a Catholic. And what it means is that we don't believe this stuff to begin with. I mean, we believe in religion as much as we believe in the stuff we study for the DMV exam, okay? You study for that written DMV exam? Because you need a driver's license to drive. Do you really care about intersections or speed limits or any of that stuff they make you study? No, you couldn't care less. And you'll forget it the minute you get your driver's license. That's why you get all those tickets for things and you say, I turned on a red light because I thought it was a right turn on red. I didn't know you have to stop. It's because you never bothered to read the manual when you were busy, trying to pass that test. You guessed at the answer or whatever down at the DMV. And same thing with these religious conversions. You didn't believe in whatever you were before in the first place, but you do like getting laid, and if she tells you you're going to have to become whatever religion her family is, you're going to do that. And you don't believe in what she believes either. You really don't care. Yeah, okay, yes. Yes, I'm a Presbyterian. Absolutely I am. It's true. And the same thing is true about marriage, by the way. We've all bought this idea that you grow up and you're supposed to get married. I bought it. I'm not saying I was immune. Are you kidding? I bought it 4 times. Bought it and sold it. Bought it again. I bought it because my parents were married for 40 years. I thought that's what people did. And when my marriages didn't work out, I thought to myself, I'm a screw-up. There's something wrong with me. Now, I'm not gay, and I don't have a problem with people who are gay, but I want to compare this because I know lots of people who are gay. Let's take it into this realm, okay? How many people out there who are gay today believe they were straight? And so they had girlfriends, You know, guys were gay. They had girlfriends. Maybe they got married. Maybe they had kids. And they were not happy. And they kept saying, it's something wrong with me. Right? And then one day they just say, wait a minute. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm gay. That's all it is. I shouldn't be getting married and having children because I'm gay. Okay? I kind of came to that conclusion as a straight male who bought into the marriage lie. I always thought when I got married there was something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. There's something wrong with the idea of getting married. And the reason I got married, for all of you who keep asking, you get married, why did you get married for? Because my parents were married and they stayed married. And when I couldn't stay married, I saw it as my personal failure not to do what they did. And like an idiot, I just thought, well, I'm stubborn. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get it right. I was an idiot. And the reason the people in Ask Amy are getting married is because they've been told that's what they're supposed to do. Not because it's good, especially for him. Not because they need to do it. You don't need to get a marriage license to have sex anymore. I mean, think about it. It's called a marriage license. You couldn't just have sex without a license. You couldn't. You couldn't have kids without a license. No. You needed a license, like you need a driver's license. You had to go down to the local, whatever the city or county office was, and you had to fill out paperwork and give them money, and you had to be licensed to do those things. Well, guess what? You don't have to be licensed to do them anymore. These two who wrote in to Ask Amy, they're having sex right now. They may even be living together. You don't need a license to cohabit anymore. You know, in Arizona, I lived in Maricopa County back in the 80s. Do you know the law in the 1980s in Maricopa County, Arizona? Cohabitation illegal. And when I was doing my radio show at the time, I moved my girlfriend in with me, and I defied them to put me in jail. They didn't. But it was illegal. The point is, all this stuff, getting married, living together, having babies, having sex, you needed a license to do those things. And even though we still have marriage licenses, you know, marriage licenses have about the value of a dog license. How many of you have a dog license? Come on. How many of you have gotten a ticket for their dog not being licensed? Don't, please, the three of you don't call in, all right? Stop. And the bottom line is most of us don't get dog licenses or cat licenses. And most where I'm sitting right now. The bottom line is that you don't have to get married. There's nothing in it for you. What is you're not religious, so you don't buy into that hook, line, and sinker. Why would you buy into this? You don't need to do it. Do you?
Tom Leykis.
Screw this other stuff. Just talk about sex.
Oral sex.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. Thank you for tuning in. We are at 1-800-5800-TOM. Seriously speaking, are there any reasons why we need to get married? That was a question that was sent into the Ask Amy column. And I'd like to find out what you think at 1-800-5800-TOM. Let's say hello to Nate on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm okay.
Right on. Good to hear it. I was just listening to you before the last break, and I thought it was pretty interesting. You drew a parallel between, needing a license to drive with a marriage license.
Right.
Isn't it funny how kind of, like, even with driving, there's some preparation required to get licensed? You have to take, driver's ed and driver's training and have a certain amount of, hours behind the wheel and be familiar with, the rules and regulations of the state in which you live. Yet with marriage, like, there's no screening process or, like, preliminary training required. So you've got people who get married who don't know how to raise kids, and they might be totally, codependent and emotionally screwed up and not really be in the, the capacity to maintain a healthy relationship, yet they can get licensed, without any credibility to begin with.
Absolutely true. You don't need any qualifications. All you need is whatever it is, the $70 or $80 it takes now to get a marriage license.
that's it. And then the divorce rate's just, what is it, like 60% or something like that?
It's something crazy.
It's out of control. So why do it in the first place?
No, that's what I've been telling people for years.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. I mean, I guess some people need the, the symbolism of it. I guess. I don't know. Somehow it kind of makes the commitment more set in stone, but I can't see any reason to do it without the, prenuptial agreement if you absolutely have to do it,
No, it makes no sense at all. I just simply don't get it.
But don't you think there should be some sort of, like, training, marriage training, or, like, child rearing?
Well, whether there should be and whether there is are two different things.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let's face it. We don't require people to study up to have children. We don't require people to study up to do all kinds of important things.
Right.
Like getting married and giving attorneys lots and lots of money. Oh, you don't need training for that.
Right. It makes no sense, man.
Not at all.
Cool. Well,
by the way, I'm looking at the screen here. I don't see any women calling it. It's all guys.
Oh, really?
Yes. So when you try to get a woman to call in and say something logical, good luck to you.
Yeah, right. All right, cool.
Totally outrageous. Thank you. Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. No women on the line, but we do have Dave on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom, what's up?
Not much, Dave.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
I have to apologize to you, though.
Why?
Because I haven't learned my lesson yet.
What'd you do?
I'm married again.
Why did you do that?
Because it was just so good, and I thought I had to have it forever.
What was so... Wait, what was so good?
I can't say that on the radio, Tom. Come on now.
Oh, you mean the sex was so good?
Well, that and some other things, yeah. But I'm on number 6. See, that's what the problem is.
All right, you're on number 6.
Number 6.
How much
47.
is this? By the way, how much does this cost you?
Do I really have to tell you?
Yes, I would like to know. If you have any idea, ballpark figure, I'd like to know.
Ballpark figure, no BS, honestly, probably a little over $1 million.
$1 million?
All combined. I'm not saying just one of them. All of them combined. The last 5.
I understand. Was it worth $1 million?
No, not really.
So why do you keep doing it?
I don't know. I heard what you said when you started the show. You said you were convinced that this was the right thing to do. Your parents did it. They stayed married forever, and so you kept doing it because you were getting it wrong. So you had to get it right. There has to be a right formula. There has to be some sort of algebra equation that would allow it to work. You just have to find the right person. But I'm getting ready to go through my 6th divorce, and I'm thinking that maybe there's no equation, and at 47, I think I'm done now, and...
You think you're done? Wait.
Okay,
You think you're done?
I rephrase. I'm done, I swear.
Don't you control... You know what? Don't you control yourself? I took control.
You know what? It's taken me this long to, like, actually figure it out. And you know what? I've listened to you for years. I lived in Phoenix. I used to live in Levine, if you know where that is.
I do.
And, back in the 80s, I lived there. I heard you on the radio there. When you were talking about you dared the cops to arrest you, I remember those shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself, wow, this is just funny. This is all entertainment. What a great show. What great entertainment this is. Oh, yeah, let's go get married, baby. Vegas, 2-hour, 3-hour drive. Let's go. It's over. Me and you forever. Doesn't work that way. I'm on 6. I'm getting ready to end 6. And that, I guess, it's taking me to my 6th one to figure that out.
How much is this divorce costing you?
Right now, we just got started, and actually, we got started about 4 months ago, so just got started is kind of a relative term, I guess. But right now, I'm probably about $50K into my attorney. She's about $50K into her attorney. Of course, the money is all mine, so I'm $100K into attorneys right now. Initially, I guess I should say, was supposed to be an equitable resolution to our dissolution of marriage. However, about 2-3 months down the road, and a lot of girlfriends of hers going out and partying and giving her advice, she's decided now she doesn't want an equitable or a
They never
resolution.
do. Haven't you learned after 6 times? Here's what happens. She talks to you about it, and she says, if you're fair to me, that's fine. I don't care. I don't want to make this any messier than it has to be. Then she goes to the attorney's office. The attorney says, are you kidding? Do you know how much you could get? And so all of a sudden she starts telling you, well, I want something fair. This isn't fair. What you're offering isn't fair. It's not fair. And the agreement you thought you had goes right out the window.
No, you're right. I'm not arguing with you, Tom. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. I know it. I'm hoping, I'm praying that some young man out there, and I consider anything younger than me a young man, I'm praying and hoping that some young man out there will hear what I'm saying and will look over at the girl that he thinks he wants to spend the rest of his life with and go, you're nice to bang. I can say that on the radio, right?
Yes.
You're nice to bang. You look good. And, you know, it's been real fun, but I think I want to bang Susie now. See, if I would have lived what I've listened to you say for years, I probably could retire right now.
And you've been listening to me for over 20 years.
Over 20 years, my friend. I don't learn. You know what my problem is? Here's what my problem is. I get tied up with a woman, and she tells me everything I want to hear, and I think it's different this time because she said the same thing, but she says it differently. And she blinks her eyes in such a way that I've never seen before, and, man, that beautiful morning sunrise sex and all that, it's all great. But then once the ring's on and once the license has been granted, things start changing. My only saving grace, and I don't really want to say that this is a saving grace. I have 3 beautiful children by their first mother. I never had any other children with any of my other wives, but I've got 3 beautiful children from my first wife. And those kids are my life, and they love me. They support every decision I make, whether they agree with it or not. They support it. And trust me, there have been a lot of disagreements because there's been a lot of women.
$1 million, Dave.
Over $1 million, Tom. Over $1 million. And once I'm done with this one, it's probably going to be close to 2. And if you look at that $2 million over a 25, 26-year time frame, if I would have just had even half of that into any stock or bond or oil company, I could have retired by now, man. I'd be living somewhere in the Bahamas banging hot babes all the time. But now I'm dealing with my last and final, and this will be my last and final. Like I'm not a sharp guy when it comes to chicks, and I've learned my lesson though. I'm done. I'm done with marrying women. There is no good thing that comes about it. It's only caused me money, pain, and mental anguish. Just bang them, young men. Don't marry them. They're not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm sure that there's a lot of guys out there that disagree. I'm positive there's quite a few women that disagree, and I beg one woman to call now and argue my point and say that I'm wrong. I beg it, but it's not going to happen. You know why? Because I'm right. You're right. They know it. And the chicks that call that do know it have intelligent things to say on your radio station like, I just want to bang him. I don't want to marry him. Those are the women I need to meet. The women I've been meeting are the ones that go, oh, look at this guy's got a little money. He's got a little dough. He's got some nice house, some nice cars. Oh, look at that boat. Oh, Harley, I got to have this guy. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And I know, Tom, you can berate me, please. I hope you do. I've made dumb decisions when it comes to women.
And you're sure you're not going to do it again?
I don't know how to tell you how sure I am that I'm not going to do it again. It's not happening again. This last one, is none of them have been fun, but this one is this one's the worst. This is the worst. She wants everything. She wants all the money that I'm making now. She wants all the money that I'm going to make in the future. I own my own company, so she wants half of that. She wants half of everything that I make until the day I die.
And you have more now, even after that $1 million plus you've spent, you have more now than you ever had before, so there's more for her to take.
Much more. And, you know, it's I wish there were other options. You know, I heard a story the other day about some guy, and I don't know if it's true or not, some guy that took and kidnapped his girlfriend, took her over to the border to Mexico, dropped her off with the hopes that she'd never come back. You know, I was kind of hoping that I could get that guy's number and I'd pay for his airfare to take mine over to Pakistan or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I had, I'm not going to say who or what country, but I had one time who started getting into that sense of entitlement. Sense of entitlement. What she didn't have was a green card.
I wish I had that scenario right now.
And I said, I'll tell you what, you go ahead and have a press conference or anything you want to have, but you know what I'm doing? I'm calling up the INS. And I am telling them what you have been up to here. And it's not going to matter what you say in your press conference about me, because you are not going to be here anymore.
And that was the end of that, I'm sure, right?
That pretty much ended the debate right there. I swear, and believe me, I wouldn't think twice. Let me just say this for any non-American women that I might date in the future who don't have papers. I won't hesitate to turn your ass in and have you kick the hell out of this country if at some point along the way you decide to become an American woman and you decide to try to claim everything. I won't do it. I won't hesitate to do it. I will kick you out. I will use every legal means at my disposal to get you disposed of.
Oh, I wish that was an option for me, Tom. God, I wish that was an option. But, as I said, never again. I'm done. I granted, it took me 6 times, and I'm getting up in age, but I still have all my hair. I don't need Viagra. And I'm still a fit guy, and I'm noticing, and this is really cool, because the first month or two I kind of sat at home and droped and moaned and whined and said, oh, poor me, and then a couple buddies said, that's it, we're done, we're tired of you being like this, it's time to get back to the old Dave, let's go out. One night out, the first night out, rather, we take me to this club. I'm down, I'm bummed. I'm not in a good mood. I'm sure I don't look approachable to any woman. But that first night out, I danced with 15, 20 different women that asked me to dance. Of course, my buddies were helping out and saying, hey, you got to go get that guy. Ask that guy to dance. He's down. You know, I had the little buddy wingman action going on there, so that helped. But the first night out, I danced with so many beautiful women, so hot. One of them took me home to her house. And haven't spoke to her since. That was
good.
2.5 months ago.
Keep that up. Hang on a second. Kyrie, what did you want to say here to Dave?
I mean, you're killing it, man. You're 6 times. Come on, bro. I mean, it usually just takes one, 2, maybe tops. Tom, I'm sorry, dude, 4, but this guy, 6, and he's costing you millions of dollars, dude. I'm sorry, $1 million per year?
No, $1 million total between the 6 marriages.
No, all of them. Yes, all
the first 5 marriages, because he doesn't know how much number 6 is going to cost.
I don't know what this one's going to be.
But then the crazy thing is, you come with the stories of hanging out with all these hot chicks and meeting them all. But just say no, man. Just say grab the penknife, right? Go ahead and get it out your desk drawer and carve out your heart. Because you put it up there. Hey, only time it should come out like the dead man's chest, it's for kids. You're killing it, bro. I mean, I understand the compassion for your story, but that you love women and this, that, and the other. But I wish I had $1 million, and believe me, women would not be getting it, bro.
I wish I had the back. You're right.
All right, Dave, we're losing you. Dave Kyrie, thank you so much for the calls. We appreciate them.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
That's my boy.
Tom Leykis.
Hey.
I waited on hold all this time to hear that I'm lousy in the sack.
The Tom Leykis Show.
From Hollywood, yes, boys and girls, it's the Tom Leykis Show. I'm 1-800-5800-TOM. We're talking about the Ask Amy advice column. It's so quaint. It appears in... Ever heard of these? Yeah. Apparently, there's still people who read these. I can't imagine how old they must be by now, but... Apparently, the Pony Express is still delivering the newspaper to somebody's front door. And the Ask Amy column, which appears in newspapers, for all you fossils and dinosaurs out there, there are two people, 27 years old. I guess their grandmother showed them the newspaper. Kids, this is a newspaper. And they wrote into the Ask Amy column saying, well, we're engaged to be married, but we're wondering why do it? We're not religious. We intend to stay together forever, but we don't believe in staying together if it's not good, so we'll get divorced if it doesn't work out. So what's the point? Makes sense to me. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. It's Beth on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Well, I'm calling about the guy that, you were just speaking to that was married 6 times and burned every time. And I have my take on it is that, he needs to own up and to some of the responsibility. I mean,
what responsibility?
Women don't fall for people that don't encourage them. I think that, he had to encourage these women to fall for him and marry him.
That's not the issue. The fact is, and by the way, I blame him. I don't blame anybody else. And I think he blames himself. But for whatever reason, he, probably like me, was raised to believe that this is what adults do. And so he did it.
Well, he keeps trying. Obviously, he likes something
Well,
about
because,
being married.
like I said, no, I don't think that's necessarily true. He, probably, like I, said when a marriage failed, it's because of a failing within me. And
right.
so he, like me, went out and did it again and believed that it's just a matter of, if he does it right, ultimately he will be, he'll be richly rewarded with that wonderful life his parents or his grandparents had.
Right. Well, I understand that, and I also
The reality is that marriage has expired. It's done. It's toast.
Right. Well, I don't disagree with that. I think he probably should never be married again. But I also think that, men need to be honest with women right up front.
Honest about what?
If a man would come, clean to a woman.
Wait, stop. Honest about what?
About not wanting a relationship, like just saying, I'm in it for the sex.
But wait a minute, but there's an in-between. There are people who want to have a relationship who don't want to sign a contract.
Okay, well, why not say that?
Because...
women will either stay in or not stay in a relationship if somebody is honest and upfront about it and says that.
Well, I say if you don't ever intend to get married, just date people, and then when they get tired of it, they want, quote-unquote, a commitment, let them go down to the IT department and pluck Poindexter out and marry him.
Well,
after they've dated me.
Well, I do. I agree with that, but I think a lot of women wouldn't even go the next step with a man if he was honest and just said, look, relationships, long-term relationships don't work for me. I'm in it for the now, and I think there are plenty of women that would go for that.
But even if the women would go for it, there's very few women who will cop to that, at least in the beginning, because of this fear women have of being branded as sluts. I've been there, and unlike you, I've dated women. And I've had the conversation. And if you try saying that to women, they run the other direction, even if they ultimately just want to get laid themselves.
That could be true.
So the trick is you have to just simply date them. Don't get into the conversation.
Right.
Avoid the conversation for as long as possible. And then when they finally corner you, just say, I don't think that's happening anytime soon. And then they can decide to stay or go.
Yeah, well, I agree with that. I think that, but I listen to your show a lot, and I hear a lot of men that I think probably encourage women to get in relationships and work really hard at it, too. And then, you know, after it doesn't work out or something, you know, just act like they weren't in it for the relationship, or they had nothing to do with encouraging the woman, where in fact, you know, you have to agree, Tom, that they probably had a lot of responsibility in encouraging the relationship.
Yeah, but they encourage the relationship because they believe, based on what women tell them, that the women won't have sex without a relationship. And the women say they won't have sex without a relationship because they don't want to be perceived as sluts. So what guys have to understand is pay no attention when a woman says she wants a relationship. A good example of this, we did a show recently about the fact that 1/3 of all women on online dating services have sex on the first date. But if you read Match.com or Yahoo Personals or JDate or any of those, how many women are saying, looking to hook up, write to me now? They don't say, they have pictures of their puppy dogs and their kitty cats, pictures of sunsets. They talk about holding hands in the sun and making plans together. They don't say, haven't gotten laid in 3 months, thought I'd try online personals. So guys believe what women are saying. Instead of realizing these women just feel like they couldn't admit that what they need is to get boned.
Well, and women believe what men
frequently will say, that they don't want to just have sex, they want a relationship. And then later on you find out they would have just boned you, for Christ's sake.
The Tom Leykis Show.